What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'll be your host and producer, Logan Landers. Join me here today from the Elite Sports and Entertainment Network to help me talk about the Kansas State Wildcats is Jay McLovin. Jay, appreciate you coming on the show as always, my friend. How are you doing? And how can this Kansas State Wildcats team do, led, of course, by quarterback Avery Johnson?
Yeah, absolutely, Logan. Thank you for having me. So Kansas State is ranked 17 right now. They're about a plus 250 in the betting world to make the playoffs. I got them on an 11-win season. I think that's very doable for this team. They've had, four bowl games in the last 5 seasons. So this team is primed and ready. They upgraded at quarterback and Avery Johnson. He's got good position skills. If the O-line can hold up and you pair that with an efficient offense and experienced defense, they could be dangerous and challenge for the second Big 12 championship in 3 years under Coach Chris Klieman. So there's a lot of good things about this team. Head coach Chris Klieman, like I said, took over in 2019. He brought in new offensive coordinator and former O-line coach Connor Riley and former Texas Tech coach Matt Wells takes over as the QB coach. So there's a lot of things here to be happy about. If you look at quarterback Johnson, first start was in a win in the Pop-Tart Bowl.
Love that bowl. Love that bowl, man. They had the giant strawberry frosted Pop-Tart, jumped into a toaster oven. And God, there's been so many just, memes made about it ever since. But
yeah,
you hit the
big time. Yeah, you hit the big time when you're in the Pop-Tart Bowl. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Over NC State and limited the play-in time, or should say over NC State and limited playing out a breakout, or should have a breakout season this year because of what they did last year. God, Louis, you got me all. Every time you said the Pop-Tart Bowl, you just threw me off a loop, man. But then when they dive into running back DJ Givens, he put up 12-26 and 10 touchdowns. Which is impressive. And you throw that behind that O-line, and it's going to be killer. And then you throw wide receiver Jaden Jackson, Jace Brown, Keegan Johnson, and Penn State transfer, Dante Cephas into the mix. What can possibly go wrong with this team, Logan, on offense? You got 4 of your O-line starters have departed. So that is a huge thing. You got 4 of them have left. So you're going to have to – I think if you look at the offense, the biggest thing is that offensive line. If they can match what they did last year on the offensive line, then they should – then obviously the offense should be straight. And then you look at the defense, the defensive end and secondary are their biggest strengths, right? Yeah, linebacker Austin Moore and Desmond Purnell, 244 career tackles between the both of them, 2 all Big 12 caliber safeties and Marvis Siegel and VJ Payne, Payne, and Ball State transfer Jordan Riley. So you got a good defense going. You have a good offense going. The only real weakness that I would say, and it's only a weakness because you just don't know what you have in them yet, would be the O-line. But I do think the strength is their skill positions and their defense. They're going to play a lot of man coverage, obviously, due to their speed. And cornerbacks Keenan Garber and Jacob Parrish. K-State has fielded a top 5 defense under coordinator Joe Klanderman in terms of points per possession allowed. So they're not going to give up a lot of points, Logan. They have a good defense. They have a good offense. They look at the schedule. I think their tough games are Arizona, Kansas, BYU, Oklahoma State, and Arizona State. If they can win those games or win a good majority of those games, then I could definitely see the playoffs in their mix, which I had them at 11 wins. So I think they're looking at what's that, like 11 and this 13 games? So I'd be like 11-2 on the season. And I think those 2 games probably could be Kansas and possibly Arizona might be their 2 losses. Kansas State in 2023, fourth quarter score was Kansas State 107 and opponents 49. And I'm talking about that's their cumulative points that they've had in that fourth quarter. So Kansas State, definitely holds the advantage over the fourth quarter over their opponents. So keep that in mind. And that goes back to credit to their defense and their offense as well. So Logan, I think at the end of the day, I think it's going to be 11-2 season and playoffs.
Yeah. When you look at this Wildcats team, they've just kind of managed to get it done, regardless of who they have. And I say that because As we know, Chris Kleiman, the head coach, he's had to do a little bit of shuffling around at the offensive coordinator spot, right? He got there in 2019, and this is now the third time that he's had to change offensive coordinators. Like I said, Colin Klein left. He went over to Texas A&M to be out there with the Aggies. So you promoted your guy in the O-line and Connor Riley. So we'll see how he can do, Jay, in this brand new role. Hopefully their offense, of course, as you mentioned, under Avery Johnson, how they can do in 2024. But yeah, the thing that I have circled about this team is they've got some really good talent. With Johnson, DJ Giddens as well, a guy for over 1,200 yards, 10 TDs last season. You're getting a lot of your good receivers, as well as Jackson and Brown and Johnson. You're also getting, as you said, Cephas over from Penn State. But like you said, 4 multi-year starters left your O-line. So,
yeah.
And also, let's not forget, too, Ben Sinnott, right? He's gone, too, one of the best tight ends last year in the Big 12. So you've got to figure out how you're going to plug those holes. Can Garrett Oakley, can he step up this year and take over for how Sinnott did? Remains to be seen. How is Johnson going to look? Like I said, had limited snaps last year, but I mean, when you saw him, you said, okay, this kid's got some good talent here. We'll see how he can do, in a full-on year come 2024. Defensive side, I mean, you've got just depth on depth on depth with players, as you said, Austin Moore, Desmond Purnell, it's Marcus Siegel and VJ Payne, Jordan Riley coming on over as well to help out. I mean, you've got some experience as well, Keenan Garber, Jacob Parrish. So, I mean, they've always had some pretty good defenses, Jay. Like in recent years, their defenses always came to play each and every given Saturday, and I don't expect anything less this upcoming season. So I like this unit, Jay. I think this is a very good team. I think it's a lot of pressure on Avery Johnson, I feel.
Yeah.
And sometimes, Jay, we know pressure creates diamonds. It's a young kid. I mean, he's 19, I believe?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a young guy. He's a sophomore. Saw limited snaps last year. But if he's able to live up to the hype around him, have this Kansas State team go on a run, if he can utilize all of the talent he has in this system, of course, as you said, with guys like Keegan Johnson on the wideout spot, Dante Cephas, who you're bringing over, Brown helping out. You got a really good running back in Giddens and Edwards behind him. I feel that he needs to play to his strengths in his teammates maybe so early on while he gets more comfortable being a starter for this team and experiencing more and more snaps compared to what he had last year. So I think you come out, like you say, you utilize your weapons around you as opposed to saying, okay, I have to be the number one guy. And if he does that, if Kansas State gets off to a hot start, you'll see, Jay, the confidence building in this young sophomore. And I think, me and you both like him. We think that he's got some really good tools, and I'm excited to see how Avery Johnson, how DJ Giddens, how Keegan Johnson are going to be used in this new system. Of course, with, like I mentioned earlier, you're getting a brand new offensive coordinator, which means typically you're going to see a lot of brand new plays, a lot of new setups in there. So we'll see how they can all mesh and how they can do this upcoming year. But I think, man, Jay, whenever I look at Kansas State, I see a team who is going to compete in the Big 12. We just talked about Kansas and how they have a really good team. Kansas State's right there with them, I say. I mean, they are neck and neck. Rightfully so, and I think it's also got a little bit of humor. They're both in the same state out there in Kansas. So, and they're saying, it's like big brother, little brother. They're both fighting each other, seeing who's gonna come away on top. But I mean, like you said, they're tough opponents this year. We mentioned Kansas, but they've got Oklahoma State as well as Arizona. Both of those teams who are ranked as well, as of the preseason top 25. When you look at those teams, Arizona's coming in at number 21 and Oklahoma State number 17. Right. So you've got good teams, but those are the big three challengers for this K-State team. I think, they'll have good competition, against Colorado and West Virginia, Houston out there, Cincinnati, Iowa State, just a couple of the other games they're playing. But I think that this team could get it out there, Jay. They could bring home a Big 12 title. I think, obviously Kansas got something to say about that. If you want to see what we had to say about them, go check out our other episode. But I think, Jay, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if we see Kansas State back at that Big 12 championship, because I think they've got the talent to do so this upcoming season. No doubt about that. But that's our words about it. I want to hear what our fans have to say, though, Jay, over on Facebook, over on YouTube. Put in the comments, how will Kansas State do? Will they get 10+ wins this year? Will they make the Pop-Tart Bowl Part 2? Will they, or Jay, will it be a little bit sweeter? Will they get a more elevated bowl game? We'll say, bring home maybe a Big 12 championship, perhaps, or just maybe, will they be one of those coveted top 12 teams and work their way into potentially the CFP national playoffs? That's going to be fun this year. It's going to be a great season, Jay, kicking off here. August 24th, I believe, is when I guess week 0 is what you could say starts. So we are right around the corner, my friend. And of course, if you guys want to see all of the game previews or the team previews we've been doing and the upcoming game previews, be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe on the channel so you don't miss a single episode. Once again, for Jay McLovin, I've been your host and producer, Logan Landers. Guys, we'll talk to you again